Tons of people will tell you that younger women often prefer older men. And it's true. Qualities like experience, maturity, and a sense of stability naturally make older men stand out. But here's the problem. Most older men don't know how to use this advantage. In fact, I've seen countless guys in their 40s, 50s, and beyond who keep making the same mistakes when it comes to younger women. And the result? They blow their chances time and time again. These men, despite all their potential, find themselves stuck, single, and frustrated. But here's the thing. When you make the wrong moves, you don't just lose her respect. You lose the chance to showcase your true value. And that's a waste considering the natural advantages older men already have. Wisdom, stability, and the ability to offer something more meaningful than younger guys can. The good news is, fixing these mistakes doesn't require you to change who you are. It's about recognizing where you're going wrong and becoming the confident, grounded man you are meant to be. Today, I'm going to break it down for you. The 7 most common mistakes older men make with younger women. Avoiding these will not only transform the way women see you, but also elevate how you see yourself. So stick around. Let's dive into the first mistake. Mistake number 1, idolizing her. Let's say you find yourself in front of an attractive younger woman. She's beautiful, vibrant, and maybe even intimidating. What's your first instinct? For many older men, it's to freeze up or panic. You think, I can't mess this up. She's way out of my league. From there, you start overcompensating. You give her special treatment, go out of your way to be polite, agreeable, and avoid saying or doing anything that might upset her. They stick to safe, boring conversations, trying to show her how perfect you are. But here's the kicker. All this effort to make her comfortable does the exact opposite. It makes you uninteresting. Women don't fall for the man who puts them on a pedestal. They fall for the man who stands confidently beside them as an equal. The root of this mistake lies in how you view her. By idolizing her, you're subconsciously placing her above you, as if she's a prize you don't deserve. This mindset makes every interaction feel high stakes. You overthink, second-guess yourself, and ultimately project insecurity. And the truth is, this behavior isn't just unattractive. It's exhausting. It signals to her that you see yourself as less valuable, which instantly lowers her perception of you. The only way to stop idolizing younger women is to normalize your interactions with them. Make it a habit to talk to women of all ages, especially younger ones, without attaching so much significance to the outcome. When you interact with more women, you start to realize they're just people, flawed, quirky, and human, just like you. That realization breaks down the pedestal you've put them on and lets you approach them with calm, grounded confidence. And remember this, you are not auditioning for her approval. She's not some rare trophy to be won. She's another human being who can choose whether or not she's compatible with you. And that's a two-way street. Once you adopt this mindset, the fear of losing her fades, because you'll know there's always someone else out there. And that, my friend, is where your real power lies. Mistake number 2, messing up the age question. Picture this. You're having a great conversation with a younger woman. Things are flowing smoothly. And then she drops the question. So how old are you? For many older men, this is the moment they start to panic. Most guys respond by either nervously blurting out their age or awkwardly trying to change the subject. Their body language shifts, their tone becomes uneasy, and suddenly, the confident man she was intrigued by seems to shrink before her eyes. Here's the issue. When you act insecure about your age, you're sending her a clear signal that you see it as a problem. And guess what? If you think it's a problem, she will too. This fear of the age question comes from a lack of confidence in your own worth. Society often makes older men feel that dating younger women is inappropriate or taboo. And This pressure can lead to shame or self-doubt. But here's the truth. Your age is not the issue. The problem lies in how you frame it. If you approach it with hesitation or insecurity, you're inviting her to see it through the same negative lens. The next time this question comes up, own it. This is key here. And there are two ways to handle it, playfully or directly. A playful approach can diffuse any tension and even build attraction. For example, you could say something like, "I'm actually too old for you. We'd never work with a sly smile." Or pretend to count on your fingers and say, "I'm 700 months old. How about you?" If humor doesn't feel natural to you, keep it simple and direct. Say your age with a calm, confident tone. "I'm 47, followed by a slight pause and a smile. Then casually steer the conversation back to something engaging. The key here is to show her that your age is a non-issue. When you're comfortable with who you are, she'll be comfortable too. Confidence frames your age as an asset, not a limitation. Remember, the way you handle the age question sets the tone for how she perceives you. So next time, don't shy away, and move forward like the grounded, self-assured man you are. Mistake number 3, leading with money. There's a quiet mistake many older men make when dating younger women. It doesn't look like desperation. It doesn't sound insecure. In fact, it looks polished, generous and admirable on the surface. But underneath, it's a move of weakness. And it's this: leading with money, paying for the dinner, booking the trip, flexing the car, or the view from the penthouse, assuming that the currency of attraction is cash. It's not to the kind of woman who's worth your time, and not to the younger woman who's tuned into something deeper than status. At first, yes, she'll smile, she'll thank you, she'll let you pay. But what you may not notice is the subtle shift happening in her mind. You've just told her something without saying a word. You told her, "This is how I define my worth." And now, she's watching, not to see what else you can buy, but to see if there's anything underneath it. A man who leads with money often reveals something more vulnerable. He's unsure of what else he brings to the table. And that uncertainty, that's what kills the attraction. Stoicism teaches us to be rooted in inner virtue, not external validation. A Stoic man doesn't seek control through wealth. He doesn't need to prove himself through what he owns. He controls only what he can: his thoughts, his actions, his discipline. When a man shows up calm, grounded, not flinching at beauty or intimidated by youth, that's power. But when he leads with money, he's no longer centered. He's seeking approval. He's negotiating desire. And a woman can feel that. Real-world example. Think about the man who shows up to a first date in a luxury car, dressed sharp, and insists on a 5-star restaurant. The night goes well, but everything feels rehearsed. He's telling stories designed to impress. He's talking more than he's asking. When the bill comes, he flashes his card with flair, waiting for a reaction. She smiles, but inside, she's already labeled him nice guy, probably overcompensating. Meanwhile, another man meets her for coffee, simple jeans and a tea, asks questions that catch her off guard, not surface level, but thoughtful. He listens. He's not showing off. He's present. And at the end of that simple date, she can't stop thinking about him. Presence is more valuable than provision. Any man can pay. But not every man knows how to hold silence with confidence, or offer stillness in a world of noise, or create emotional safety without lifting his wallet. That's what makes him unforgettable. Women don't forget the man who didn't try to buy their time. They forget the one who tried too hard. And here's the irony. Leading with money actually devalues your wealth. Because when she sees that's your main card, it stops being impressive. It becomes expected. The moment she assumes you'll always pay, always plan, always provide, the dynamic shifts. Now you're a provider, not a partner. A convenience, not a mystery. And once that label sticks, you won't get it back. A Stoic man knows his value is self-defined. He doesn't use money to impress. He uses his presence to impact. He doesn't overextend to win favor. He stands firm in what he offers and lets others rise to meet it. Leading with money isn't masculine. It's transactional. And any high-value woman, regardless of age, feels that difference instantly. So here's the shift. Next time you meet someone new, don't rush to pay for the biggest thing in the room. Let your energy lead. Let your curiosity speak louder than your credit card. Let your silence build tension. Let your depth outshine your digits. The men who leave a lasting impression are not the ones who gave the most. They're the ones who gave the least strategically, with clarity and self-respect. Now, I want to hear from you. If you know your value goes far beyond your wallet, drop this in the comments. I never lead with money. And don't go anywhere, because in the next part, we're talking about a habit most men think is polite, but it actually drains your masculinity. Stick around. You're going to want to hear this. Mistake number 4. Positioning yourself as a mentor. Let's talk about a subtle trap older men fall into when dating younger women. It doesn't feel wrong. In fact, it might feel noble, even useful. You've got more experience, more life under your belt. You've seen things, built things. So naturally, when she talks about her career or her problems, you offer advice, insight, guidance. You slip into the role of the mentor, the wise man, the teacher. But here's the problem. The moment she sees you as a mentor, she stops seeing you as a man she wants to sleep with. It's not that she doesn't admire you. She might even say she respects you. But that's the point. Respect doesn't equal desire. Emotional attraction, especially sexual tension, isn't born from a lecture. It's born from polarity, from presence, from emotional energy that doesn't analyze her, fix her, or parent her. Older men often unconsciously step into this role because it feels safe. It's a way to engage without being vulnerable. When you position yourself as the teacher, you're in control. You're not risking rejection, you're offering help. But here's the thing. Help is not hot. Guidance is not seductive. And advice, no matter how wise, often kills curiosity. You have to understand, when she opens up about her struggles, it's not an invitation to coach her. It's an invitation to connect. She doesn't want a 10-minute monologue about how to negotiate a raise. She wants to feel seen, heard, maybe held. And that requires something different than knowledge. It requires emotional presence. Let's get real for a second. If she wanted a mentor, she'd hire one. If she wanted a father figure, she'd call hers. But what draws her to an older man isn't just what he knows, it's how he carries what he knows, quietly, confidently, without needing to share it. There's a Stoic principle here worth remembering. Wisdom doesn't announce itself. It shows up in how you live, not how much you explain. A Stoic man speaks less, but what he says carries weight. He leads by example. He doesn't impose. He doesn't instruct unless asked. And when he listens, he really listens not to solve, but to witness. Now imagine two men. One hears a younger woman talk about a challenge she's having at work and immediately says, "Here's what you need to do. I've been in business 20 years. What your boss is doing is classic manipulation. What you need to do is..." Meanwhile, another man hears the same story and says, "That sounds frustrating. What do you feel like doing?" The second man doesn't offer a maffy, gives her space to find her own direction. And that space, that's what makes her lean in. Because you're not just giving her answers, you're letting her feel powerful around you. And that's where attraction lives, not in the hierarchy of mentor and student, but in the energy of equals who admire each other, who challenge each other, who spark. You're not here to fix her life. You're here to be so grounded in your own that she can feel safe expanding hers around you. That's masculine energy. That's what pulls her in. So the next time you catch yourself dropping knowledge, pause, ask yourself, Am I sharing this to impress, to lead, or to connect? The answer matters. Because while logic might earn her gratitude, it's your emotional discipline that earns her desire. Here's a better move. Stay curious. Let her explain her world without you rearranging it. Let her feel like the adult woman she is. The more space you give her to be her, the more naturally she'll want to step into your world. If you understand that being desired is not about proving what you know, but about holding who you are, then I want you to drop this in the comments. No more mentor mode, and don't go anywhere, because in the next part, we're unpacking a mistake so common and so subtle it's ruining your chances without you even realizing. You'll want to catch it before she does. Mistake number 5. Trying too hard to look young. Let's be honest, there's nothing wrong with wanting to look your best. Grooming matters, health matters, presentation matters. But where it all starts to unravel is when you cross a very specific line. The line between timeless and try-hard. Trying too hard to look young doesn't just show on the outside, it shifts the energy. It signals insecurity. And here's the truth most men won't admit. The second you start chasing youth, you stop embodying the one thing younger women are truly drawn to in an older man: masculine certainty. Younger women don't date older men because they look like guys their own age. They're drawn to the calm, the confidence, the grounded presence that only comes with experience. When you overcompensate dyeing your hair jet black, dressing like a 25-year-old club promoter, or obsessively injecting yourself with anti-aging treatments, you send a subtle, unspoken message. I don't trust that who I am right now is enough. And that message kills attraction. Because here's what really hits deep. The man who ages with self-respect, who owns his appearance without apology, who shows up as Isha radiates a power no amount of skincare or fitted jeans can fake. He doesn't try to be what she wants. He knows he is what she wants. Not because of his looks, but because of how he moves through the world. Think about it this way. A well-fitted suit that honors your build, some gray at the temples, a calm voice, and a slow, deliberate way of speaking that's far sexier than any flashy sneakers or TikTok trend-chasing haircut. Subtle elegance beats youthful mimicry every time. In Stoic philosophy, there's a core idea: live in harmony with nature. Aging is nature. It's not a curse, it's a sign you've survived, evolved, grown. It's your proof that you've walked through fire and lived to tell the story. Why hide that? The problem isn't the haircut or the skincare routine, it's the energy behind it. Are you doing it because it expresses who you are, or are you doing it because you're afraid of what she'll think if she sees your age? You don't need to erase time. You need to wear it well. Look at Hollywood's most iconic older men: Jeff Goldblum, Idris Elba, Pierce Brosnan. They don't chase youth. They embody poise, style, self-acceptance. And that's exactly what makes them magnetic. They're not trying to compete with younger guys. They've already won by stepping into a league of their own. Let's bring this down to a moment you've probably experienced. You're on a date. She compliments your salt and pepper beard or the way your voice sounds when you talk about something you care about. That's not her being polite, that's her being drawn to your masculinity. The real kind. The one that doesn't need to scream for attention. You trying to look young might get a glance, but you owning your presence, that gets remembered. And here's the paradox most men miss. The more you try to look young, the older you seem. But the more you own your maturity, the more timeless you become. So ask yourself, what version of yourself walks into the room when you meet her? The man who's trying to turn back the clock, or the man who's walking forward with purpose? If you want to be the kind of man she can't forget, start by respecting the man you've become. Style yourself like someone who values his life, not someone who's afraid of it. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop this in the comments if it resonates. I don't chase youth, I embody presence. And stay with me, because in the next part, we'll talk about a mistake men make with their energy and how it quietly repels the very women they're trying to attract. You won't want to miss this. Mistake number 6. Overloading the conversation with your achievements. Let's set the stage. You're sitting across from a younger woman. The wine's been poured. The setting is just right. But 5 minutes into the conversation, you're already listing your career wins, the house you own, your investment portfolio, and of course the time you met someone important at a conference in Geneva. What's happening here? You're not sharing to connect. You're sharing to prove something. And here's the problem with that. The moment you start proving, you lose presence. You move from being a man who is something to a man who needs you to see it. And that changes the entire dynamic of attraction. Younger women aren't blind. They know older men have had time to build. That's part of the appeal. But when those accomplishments become the center of the conversation, something gets lost the man behind them. Because she's not there to be impressed by your resume. She's there to feel something. Stoicism teaches that external things, wealth, status, recognition, are ultimately indifferent. What matters is how you carry yourself, how you manage emotion, how you relate to others. A man who's truly grounded doesn't need to talk about his success. His energy speaks for itself. Now, don't get it twisted. There's nothing wrong with being proud of what you've built. You should be. But if you constantly steer the conversation back to you, what you've done, what you own, who you know, you start to sound like a man trying to buy respect with bullet points. And here's the worst part. She stops being curious about you. Why? Because you're already giving everything away. You're handing her a press release instead of letting her discover you. Women, especially younger women, are drawn to mystery, not marketing. So what's the better play? Let your achievements emerge naturally when they're relevant to the conversation, not when you feel like you're losing her attention. You don't need to win her with stats. You need to invite her into a deeper space. Let her ask questions. Let her wonder why you're so composed. Let her sit across from you thinking, there's something about him I can't quite put my finger on. That's where attraction lives, in the tension of discovery, not in the clarity of a monologue. Real confidence doesn't announce itself. It's felt. It's in the way you hold eye contact, in the way you let a pause hang in the air without rushing to fill it, in how you make her feel like the only person in the room, not because you're boasting, but because you're present. Let's be real. The guy who talks too much about his past wins often does so because he's not sure if he is enough right now. That's a hard pill to swallow, but once you see it, you can change it. And when you do, your conversations shift. She starts leaning in, asking more, feeling more. So next time you're on a date or just in a deep conversation with a woman you're drawn to, remember this: don't lead with the highlight reel. Lead with depth. Ask her a question no one's asked her before. Listen with full attention. Share a truth that isn't about your success, but about your mindset. That's what makes you memorable. You're not there to perform. You're there to connect. And when you speak from that place, not to impress, but to express, everything changes. Now let's turn it to you. Drop this in the comments if it hits home. I don't perform, I connect. Stick around. Because in the next section, we're going to expose one of the most common blind spots that silently destroys attraction, even in guys who've got everything else dialed in. Mistake number 7. Neglecting your physical presence. Let's be brutally honest, your physical presence isn't just the first thing people notice about you. It's the loudest thing you communicate before you ever say a word. And when it comes to younger women, it's not about having the body of a 25-year-old or a face carved by a Greek sculptor. It's about something deeper. It's about presence, that energy that walks into a room before you do. And too many older guys underestimate this. Or worse, they completely neglect it. You see, when a man enters midlife, he often believes his achievements, experience, and wisdom should be enough. And while those things matter immensely, they're not a pass to ignore the vessel that carries them. You can't let your body become a museum of your past hustle. It has to reflect that you still care not to impress her, but because you respect yourself. Let's break this down. Physical presence isn't just about appearance. It's about posture, eye contact, voice tone, and how you hold space. Do you walk into a room and shrink? Or do you stand tall not in arrogance, but in ownership? Do you sit slouched over a drink, checking your phone, disconnected? Or do you carry a stillness that tells her you're fully grounded in the moment? Younger women consciously or not pick up on these cues instantly. They're hypersensitive to energy. They notice if you've let yourself go, not because they're vain, but because it signals something deeper. Have you quit on yourself? Here's the truth. Taking care of your body is a form of communication. It tells the world, I'm still in the game. That doesn't mean chasing trends or pretending to be younger than you are. It means sharpening what you already have, staying lean, moving with intention, dressing in a way that expresses you with style and maturity, not a costume to impress, but an extension of your identity. And this is where Stoicism quietly walks in. The Stoics believed that your outer world is a mirror of your inner discipline. They didn't obsess over appearances, but they also didn't ignore the body. Marcus Aurelius trained physically. Epictetus taught that discipline in the body supports discipline in the mind. If you let your body fall into neglect, what does that say about your inner structure? Now let's get even more real. You can't project confidence if your clothes don't fit right. You can't hold attraction if your posture signals defeat. You can't inspire curiosity if your grooming looks like an afterthought. And this isn't about vanity, it's about vitality. Women are drawn to men who radiate life force. A man who walks slowly, speaks softly, and barely lifts his shoulders signals decay, not power. But a man who's engaged with the world, who breathes fully, moves cleanly, and carries strength in his frame, he doesn't have to say he's attractive. He is. So what do? Start with posture, shoulders back, chest open, head high not stiff, just present. Speak from your diaphragm, not your throat. Let your voice land when you talk. Upgrade your wardrobe to match your personality today, not who you were 10 years ago. And build small rituals of care, skin, hair, scent. These things matter, not because they make you pretty, but because they show you're alive and deliberate. Here's the paradox. The more you take care of yourself for you, the more magnetic you become to her. Because confidence is contagious, and discipline is visible. You don't have to be the fittest guy in the room. You just have to be the one who shows he gives a damn about the man in the mirror. So I'll leave you with this challenge. Next time you walk into a room, observe yourself like a stranger would. Would you be intrigued, or would you overlook yourself? Drop this in the comments if this hits home. My presence speaks louder than my words. And if you're still watching, stick with me, because in the final section, we're going to pull it all together and reveal the one shift that makes all of this work, even if you've been getting it wrong for years. Mistake number 8. Confidence is quiet stop, trying to prove yourself. Let's cut straight to it. One of the biggest turnoffs for younger women, actually, for anyone who values maturity, is a man who constantly feels the need to prove himself. Whether it's flashing his wealth, name-dropping influential people he knows, or turning every conversation into a subtle resume recap, it reeks of insecurity. And here's the twist. The more you try to show confidence, the less believable it becomes. True confidence is quiet. It doesn't need an audience. It doesn't scream to be validated. It doesn't interrupt the room. In fact, it lets the room come to it. You see, many older guys fall into this trap because they feel like they're already starting from a deficit. They assume, she's younger, she's got options, I need to compensate. So what happens? They over-explain. They overperform. They laugh too hard at their own jokes. They interrupt with stories that make them sound important. They talk at her instead of sitting with her. And that energy, It's desperate, not dominant. Let me paint you a real-world contrast. Imagine two men walk into the same dinner party. One is constantly cracking jokes, always needs to be heard, finishes everyone's sentence, and somehow manages to bring every topic back to himself. He might get attention, but he won't get respect. The other man listens more than he speaks. He observes, contributes when he has something real to say, and when he does speak, it's direct, measured, and calm. That man, he leaves a mark. Not because he tried, but because he didn't need to. This is what younger women feel instantly. They've seen enough bravado. They've dealt with enough guys still trying to prove they're alpha. What they're craving is presents a man secure enough in himself that he doesn't have to posture. That's what makes him magnetic. That's what makes her lean in. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius didn't walk around announcing his strength. He wrote about mastering the self. Seneca didn't chase applause. He warned about the danger of attaching your identity to external praise. Confidence, to the Stoic mind, is rooted in self-command. It's what you are, not what you display. So let's get practical. How do you drop the habit of proving and start embodying quiet strength? First, audit your conversation. Are you listening to connector, waiting for your turn to speak? If you find yourself constantly needing to validate your worth, pause. Ask yourself, what am I trying to prove, and to whom? Second, resist the urge to fill silence. Silence is a power move when done right. It signals composure. Most men panic in silence. They rush to keep her attention. But when you're calm in that space, it shows you're not afraid of her mind wandering. That alone triggers curiosity. Third, stop selling yourself. You are not a product. Your job is not to pitch your value, it's to live it. Show her your depth through how you live, not through what you say. Let your actions be so aligned with your words that no explanation is needed. And if you're thinking, but won't she lose interest if I don't impress her? No, she'll finally have space to feel something. And that's what matters. Emotional connection isn't built through your accomplishments, it's built through how grounded you are when you're not trying. Here's a quick mindset shift. Instead of asking, how can I impress her? Ask, how can I make her feel safe being real around me? Because a man who makes a woman feel seen, not sold to, will always stand out. Now, I want to leave you with a simple line to reflect on, and maybe even drop in the comments if you feel this part resonated. Real confidence never explains itself. And if you're still with me, stay locked in, because what comes next is where everything shifts. We're going to unpack how the way you carry yourself in her absence can echo louder than anything you say in her presence. Mistake number 9. Don't be too available. Let her miss you. There's a harsh truth most men eventually learn the hard way. When you're too available, you stop being desirable. It sounds counterintuitive, especially if you were raised on the idea that being attentive, responsive, and always there for her is what wins her heart. But when it comes to attraction, especially with younger women, that constant availability can actually kill the spark before it even starts. Here's why. Desire thrives in space, not in suffocation. When she knows you'll reply in 10 seconds flat, pick up her call no matter what, and adjust your schedule just to see her, you stop being a mystery and start being a convenience. That's not romantic. That's boring. And worse, it signals neediness. It says, I don't have much going on unless it involves you. Think about it this way. What feels more powerful, a man who drops everything the moment she texts, or the one who has a purpose so compelling that she has to wait for him to come up for air? The second man commands respect without asking for it. Not because he's playing games, but because his life isn't built around her attention. It's built around something bigger. Now let's be clear. I'm not saying ignore her or play cold. That's manipulation. What we're talking about here is posture. Are you living your life in a way that naturally creates space for her to miss you, to wonder about you, to want more from you? Or are you constantly feeding her updates, offering yourself on a silver platter, and waiting by the phone for her validation. You see, younger women are particularly tuned into this. Many of them are used to men, especially older, mentoring too hard to impress, to lock things down, to always be reachable. But the men who stand out, they're the ones who are occasionally unavailable. The ones who sometimes take hours or even a day to reply because they're genuinely deep in work, passion, purpose, or peace. And when they do respond, it's present, intentional, and relaxed. That rhythm space followed by substance size magnetic. This dynamic even aligns with Stoic philosophy. A Stoic man doesn't hinge his emotional state on someone else's attention. He maintains inner stillness regardless of who texts back. He knows that his worth isn't proved through constant communication. It's lived through consistent discipline. Marcus Aurelius didn't need to be seen to know he was in command. He just was. So what's the move here? First, build a life she has to fit into, not one that bends around her. Your routine, your goals, your peace, those come first. If a woman senses that you'd abandon all that the second she calls, she won't admire you. She'll pity you. Second, create intentional pauses. Don't reply to every message immediately. Don't fill every silence, and don't say yes to every plan. That space isn't rejection, it's reflection. It gives her room to feel your absence, to question where you are, to lean in a little closer. Third, let go of the fear that she'll lose interest if you pull back slightly. If she does, good. That means she was only interested in attention, not you. The woman who truly values you will be drawn deeper when she realizes she can't always access you on demand. And here's something subtle yet powerful. Don't explain your distance. Let your actions speak. If she asks why you took a few hours to reply, don't justify. Just be calm, direct. I was focused on something important. That answer, delivered without apologies, infinitely more attractive than any paragraph-long excuse. I want to hear your take on this one. Drop this line in the comments if it resonates with you. A man in motion doesn't wait to be missed, creates space worth missing. Stick with me, because in the next part, we're going even deeper. It's not just about what you say or what you do, about the energy you carry, even in silence, and that's where everything changes. Mistake number 10. Attraction isn't earned through effort, it's claimed through ease. Here's something most men never hear clearly enough. Trying too hard doesn't attract her, it repels her. Especially when she's younger and you're older, the more you try to earn her attention through effort, gifts, approval, or performance, the more she feels something is off. Not because your intentions are bad, but because effort, in the wrong context, feels like desperation wrapped in politeness. Think about the difference between force and flow. The men who naturally draw women in don't push, they don't beg, and they sure don't overcompensate. They carry themselves like they already belong in the room. Like attraction is a natural byproduct of their presence, not a result of jumping through hoops. And younger women sense this instantly. When you're in a space of ease, when you're relaxed in your body, not overthinking every word, not performing or over-explaining, she feels that. It's in how you pause instead of ramble. It's in how you make eye contact instead of fidgeting. It's in how you let the moment breathe instead of crowding it with effort. This isn't about being lazy or indifferent. It's about letting go of the belief that attraction is a prize you must hustle for. You don't need to over-deliver stories about your career or make sure she knows how different you are from other men. When a man knows who he is, he doesn't prove. He allows, he invites, and he walks away if the energy feels wrong, without bitterness or explanation. This is exactly what Stoic psychology echoes. The Stoic man is at ease with what he controls: his actions, his emotions, his presence, and he detaches from what he can't: the reactions, her choices, her level of interest. When you embody this, attraction stops being a negotiation and starts becoming a natural alignment. There's no pressure, just presence. A man who lives in this kind of ease becomes magnetic, not because of what he gives, but because of what he withholds. The need to impress. That's the true seduction when she's around you, and feels no grasping, no chasing, just calm, grounded certainty. And look, this doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing less of what's inauthentic, less trying to convince her, more letting her observe. Less chasing chemistry, more creating a space where it can breathe. Less leaning forward, more standing tall. To drive this home, imagine two men. One brings flowers, pays for everything, texts constantly, and showers her with compliments. The other shows up on time, looks her in the eye, listens more than he talks, and leaves her wondering what's behind that steady smile. Who's more attractive in the long run? The one who claims space with ease, not the one who tries to fill it with effort. So if there's one shift to make, it's this. Stop overperforming. Start being. Attraction isn't a job interview, it's energy, it's unspoken. And the more comfortable you are in your own stillness, the more she'll lean in without you having to ask. If that message hits you, leave this in the comments. Ease isn't laziness, it's power. That's a wrap for the core ideas. If you found value in what we talked about today, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Join the Stoic Brotherhood to go deeper and grow alongside other like-minded men. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.